Ernie, I don't know you. So say bye. I'm going to ban you. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. I probably do. You're hiding. Can't come in as yourself, can you? That's what JC wanted me to do all the time as they sit there and clone. So I'm bye, Ernie. I'm banning you. I hope you're not wigging. That's all I can say. Ask me stupid questions. You know what time Mark Levin comes on? Stupidity is going to get you fucking banned tonight if you come in here. JT, you're a fucking punk. Out here trying to take over. What a fucking punk. And you want CB to show her tits. You like looking at LD's dick as he's pissing on a fucking jacket. What a queer. Yeah, I like making fun of queers. How about you, Wheaton Shaw? You're a queer motherfucker, too. These motherfuckers hate their own country. How disgusting. I hate you guys more than I hate the foreigners. Fucking ignorant motherfucker you are, Wheaton Shaw. And then you guys who fucking cover for him and oh, we're friends. Duh. Empress cucked you, JT. Fucking idiot. Oh, I should put some music on. What time is it? I just put my dinner in the oven. Or no, I'm waiting for the oven to warm up. I gotta stick it in the oven here in a minute. Ignorant. Side chat's open until Mark Levin comes on. Let's reminisce a little bit. Remember in Fox 46, right? I would block people, right? And all of a sudden, here comes Dwayne Allman begging me to unblock his friends. Yeah, DA. Remember when you're always asking me to unblock people? They do their shit and I block them, and then you want me to unblock them. Remember that bullshit, DA? You chicken shit fuck. Just drive right on past Albany and come to Governor, right? You'd look much better if you came here and kicked my ass. You're not going to kick my ass, DA. You can't fight. One swat upside the head and you fucking cower like a motherfucker. Same thing with your little friend Logical. He's a pussy ass motherfucker. Fuck you. And hey, if you don't like the radio program, you can mute me and you can listen to your own music in the background. You all have YouTube. You don't need me. All right? You can just use the side chat. You don't have to listen. Too fucking bad. I listen to it. You didn't know shit, Rory. You come in here, I don't know who you are. That's what's going to happen. I'm not putting up with your guys' shit. Open your own fucking chat. JT up there on Chinchillas crying like the fucking cunt he is. You are a fucking true cunt, JT. Who the fuck you think you are? Motherfucker. Get in line. That fucker wanted to jump right to the front of the line. You came here, JT. Rain and you came here, along with Gotti and Rusty. Yeah, you guys, you see, I don't know if you see what Wiggin did. I knew what was going on. I'm the fucking bait for you motherfuckers. I've helped Wiggin out a lot, and he knows it. As far as Empress is concerned, I've never banned him. He's always been welcome in my chat. I know who the porn bombers are. We got a few minutes before Levin comes on. If anybody wants to come up real quick, you got something to say, I'll let you say it. Or whatever. Copy the link and then you'll have it. Yeah, JT, you really asked out. But you're not quite there yet. You're fucking pretty bad, though. You're concerned about all of our mental illness. Oh, my fucker. My neighbor's home. I was listening to Redneck Paradise, Kid Rock, and Hank Williams Jr. So CB, I see you fucking going around saying you report people who time you out. CB, I'm about getting sick of you, really. Yeah, very entertaining. I don't know if you like me genuinely or if you just, I told you, just come to Governor. You ain't gonna get nowhere sitting there, CB. You see the video Chinchilla made about you fucking saying you fuck your cousin and fuck my cousin and fuck my cousin. That's pretty disgusting. You guys do shit just for the shock factor. That's not good. There's better things for shock factor than that right there. CB. I'm watching the clock. I put food in the oven. Wow. Those all must be Randy's accounts. Hi, Randy. Trying awful hard, Randy. Go make a video, Randy. Go make a stupid video.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides.
Fucking Google in their commercials. Ah, they're fucking ignorant.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
At Metro Flooring, you always get more, like more rooms of carpet and more savings with this great deal. For a limited time, you can get 3 rooms of carpet for just $7.99. See all the ways you can get more for your money at metroflooringcontractors.com.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day. Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9.
Making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found from
I don't like you porn bombers.
from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad.
People who do that have nothing.
It was so
That
amazing.
just shows that you're triggered when you do that shit. I watched Vader do it on Chinchilla's panel. I don't think it was the real thing. That motherfucker had a strap on. That was not his dick. That was way too big to be his dick.
He's now walking around barefoot again.
And if his dick is really that fucking big, he's wasting his time in YouTube. He needs to go to the mall or the grocery store or something like that. Vader has no money. He can't take a woman home because he doesn't have his own place. Same thing with Will Durant. I have my own place. I don't care if this fucking place is run down or not. I have my own place. Actually, I got into this place. It was pure luck. Yeah. Somebody told me about it, and they said something to the people that owned it. And when I met the guy, his first name's John from New York City, and he's a black dude. And he used to be in the Navy. He was a Navy guy. He's married into the family that has money from New York City. They ended up selling the place. They didn't do anything. They didn't fix it up.
The judge was not buying it, and none of us will buy it.
A Justice Department attorney said there's no need for the judge to review the information herself to make a determination on threats to national security.
So right now we have a dispute between Gotti and Matt Galligan.
Under the Alien Enemies Act,
The U.S. Supreme Court rejects an emergency appeal from the Trump administration on use of the Alien Enemies Act.
Yeah, it's getting too late.
Suspected foreign gang members.
6:03. I don't think anybody's going to come up right now.
That detainees are entitled to more
So
notice.
I'll just delete the link. Those of you who are professional at this already have my link copied.
Social minutes ago, quote, the Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country. An illegal immigrant from El Salvador with a lengthy criminal record was arrested in Gaithersburg on Monday. ICE says Nelson Vladimir Amaya Benitez is a validated MS-13 member who was convicted of various crimes in Montgomery County on separate occasions and released each time despite having ICE detainers. He was convicted on charges including malicious burning and attempted motor vehicle theft. A change is made in response to the D.C. mayor's concerns that Houston's streets will be...
You know, the world news comes on, is it CBS, Peter Jennings at 6:30? Where I live, it's WWNY out of Watertown, Channel 7.
They should be accompanied with many millions of dollars to repair the roads.
Mayor Bowser standing by those initial comments regarding any damage.
I don't watch the world news at 6:30. I listen to it right here.
With each tank weighing 60 tons or more, the Army will utilize
Radio is much better medium for getting any news.
Rubber tracks. The parade is expected to involve almost 7,000 soldiers and a combined 200 vehicles and helicopters along the way from the Pentagon to the National Mall. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
President Trump's one big beautiful bill hits one big roadblock.
Several Republicans on the House Budget Committee voting with all Democrats against the GOP budget resolution. A frustrated Congressman Tom McClintock accusing his colleagues of voting against $4.5 trillion worth of tax cuts over 10 years.
Hopefully, they will feel the heat and see the light and come back sadder but wiser.
A group of conservative members want assurances on spending cuts, wanting them to take effect sooner. Republicans will need to work out a deal on the one big beautiful bill.
These fuckers.
By House Speaker Mike Johnson's goal.
Bunch of money grubbers. Every fucking single one of them.
News.
I don't think Trump's taking his salary, so he isn't doing it for the money. You fucks. I want to hear that. Yeah, there's an industrial, military industrial complex. But you know, the government has to contract to civilian companies because the government doesn't make the bullets. They don't make the boots. They don't make the ships. They have to hire civilians to do it. They have to contract that kind of work.
He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the
JT out there thinking he knows what the military is all about in the government.
Amazing. He's now walking around barefoot.
Wheaton Shaw. I should show that thing again. He pledged allegiance to Canada. He doesn't like his own country. Why is that? I know why. Because these fuckers want everything handed to them. Gimme, 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 gimme. So when you don't give them what they want, they turn on you and call you a meanie, and you're a right winger.
There's an accident blocking the left lane. Use extra caution there.
You're a fucktard, Wheaton Shaw.
Headed from Branch Avenue to the Greenbelt Metro.
Fat fuck.
On the outer loop at the Claiborne
You want to talk about Mary Burney? Of course, Mary Burney's dumb enough to take the abuse, but oh well.
66 at the 270 spur and from Old Georgetown Road to New Hampshire Avenue. A couple of road closures.
Charlie, your little buddy was fucking talking about you.
Road in Germantown.
Twisting my words again. Not very happy with that motherfucker. He's one chicken shit motherfucker. He doesn't dare come up here. I'll turn the program off. Logical. You want to come up? Come on up. I dare you. Bring your squeaky voice with you. I want to hear your story about burning your feet and getting staples and how the doctor is stupid. Wow.
87 degrees.
Fucking brilliant. Just brilliant. Yeah, he ain't got the balls to come here. He ain't got the balls, guy. Too much pride right there. He's one dumb motherfucker. He lives at home with his mother, Margaret. He won't show up. I'm not the one who needs to make peace. He does. All right. Mark Levin's not in. Somebody's in for him.
Several hours. Mark is out.
So feel free to interrupt my program.
Mark Levin show, and every night I look forward to it. And then, well, when he's not here, it can be a downer. But I got a lot to get to, and we're gonna have a great conversation. We gotta talk about the Supreme Court trying to meddle in the president's ability to be the chief executive.
Take the loss, Logical. You lost to Billy Hayden a long time ago.
They blocked his ability to deport Venezuelans.
You need 10 robots against my one account. One account I've been going. That's why I've been doing it. You know what that fucker's doing. Now he's got 10 of them fucking bots going, or somebody's helping him.
Of their 72 decision with Alito and Thomas saying, "What the hell are we doing here, guys?" And they may not have set up like that.
No, I wouldn't. Not out of spite. I don't do. I'm not a spiteful person. They are.
And who really
You're a very spiteful person, JT. That's why you get along with Rusty and Logical and that whole fucking crew.
Share with you some audio of Sebastian Gorka, who works in the White House now for counterterrorism efforts.
The real word is vituperative.
At a forum
very bitter and abusive. Bitter people. Angry motherfuckers.
People in the government would say to these reporters, and you're going to hear it and you're going to love it. We've got that coming up. But I'm scanning the headlines. I'm scanning the news rundown.
I listen to this.
Scanning trending stories. I'm sorry.
I like this guy.
Done
He's
talking
all right.
about James Comey. I've been listening.
James Comey. I never considered electronic surveillance as spying. No.
Why are we talking about Comey?
Hey, Charlie, is electronic surveillance spying?
Palpable threat.
You're the FBI director.
We're supposed to let that
okay?
Go. It's time to move
Let
on.
me ask you that
Weekend.
question.
Let's go enjoy the kids. I'm not so fast. I've got plenty to lay out about this sanctimonious jerk. And the latest, which was just revealed about an hour ago, that he does, in fact, have an appointment with the Secret Service. No arrest, but they just want to talk. That's happening as we speak, I think, and we're going to give you the latest details on that, too. I'm Larry O'Connor. I'm sitting in for Mark Levin, radio talk show host in Washington, D.C., on Mark's home station, WMAL. I do the morning show there, so you can check it out anytime.
WMAL 105.9 FM.
Town Hall Media every day at noon. Check
Washington, D.C.
Like. I also want to tell you,
great radio station.
This weekend's Life, Liberty, and Levin. On Saturday, Mark's got Mark Thiessen and Gordon Chang. Saturday at 8 p.m. And then Sunday, he's got Doron Spielman and Representative Brian Mast. Life, Liberty, Levin on Sunday. I got to tell you, Doron Spielman.
Oh, I could have gone JC's husband and her father. She put them pics up, right? That's just enticing people to do. I didn't do it.
So it's like fast-paced and all that stuff. He is a fascinating man. He's a major in the IDF reserves. He has written a book, a history book about that region and about the origins. It actually uncovers archaeological proof of the Davidic kingdom in Israel. That is Israel's land.
I try not to be like a slouch.
Morons out there who are still claiming that oh no.
JC, come up and talk about my back.
This land, they just showed up in 1947. Are you freaking kidding me? Be nuts.
Talk about how I'm hunched over.
Legendary figure. That's not.
I give you a hunched over, a humping.
I'm sorry. Are we
JC,
the same historical?
You couldn't
facts?
handle this, JC.
It's outrageous. Doron Spielman has
Oh, is she live?
Work. He has written the book. It is fascinating, and it's
I'm talking over the radio program.
Sadly, the same moronic, ignorant, anti-Semitic discussions that are going on today that have been going on, sadly, for centuries. And no, I'm not Jewish. I'm sorry, you don't have to be Jewish to understand truth, facts, and right and wrong, and good and evil. So that's Doron Spielman. Sorry, I'm just telling you who to watch on Mark Levin's show this weekend, and I just know that.
I forgot to put water in his fucker.
It's going to be such a great interview, so make sure you check that out. Also, a little later, I'll tell you about Mark's new book that they just announced this week. I'm very excited about that too. But let's talk about James Comey. You want to chime in on James Comey? What do you think should happen with James Comey? Should they arrest him? Should they throw the book at him? Should they make a big deal out of this? And, what was the harm? Oh, gosh, it was just, why are you so sensitive? He didn't really mean it, right? Oh, he apologized. He took down the post. Should we buy that? Should we take it? Would James Comey do that? Would James Comey look the other way? Let's imagine James Comey at one time in his life was the director of the FBI.
86
like
is how much a trash can, a dry trash can off a submarine has to weigh before it can be flushed to sea.
He would shrug and say, "Oh, that's no big deal. Don't make."
You have to separate the dry trash and the wet trash.
877-381-3811.
It's 45 pounds for the wet trash, and it's 86 pounds for the big, tall cans. You have to use a metal roller. It has holes in it. You put weights in it to weight it down. It has to weigh so it doesn't float to the top. So when you 86 means
I know a lot of people like Instagram.
To the bottom of the sea, never to return.
Posting his random deep thoughts. And it's like a Dear Diary moment.
I'm not forgetting way back in Fox 46. Oh, put a bullet in his head. Right? That's the Al Pesh and Whippermantle crew and all them dumb fuckers over in Europe doing that shit. And I find fucking Americans doing it, you motherfuckers. I'll kick your
You don't
ass.
have to be a detective. You know that it's not random.
I'll kick your ass, you motherfuckers. You don't want to do it in front of me.
And then he acknowledged it. It's a political message, really. So look at that. Isn't that something? Cool shell formation, Jim, really? You expect everyone to believe that you just stumbled across this cryptic little message.
JC wanted the cops to believe I was making death threats on her.
Just because you were out for
Fuck you, JC.
As the great one pointed out on his show last night, and if you're not listening to Mark every night, by the way, you're not. What are you doing with your life? If you're not listening to Mark Levin every night. 86 is slang. It means to get rid of something. In some circles, criminal circles, it's even darker. It implies take someone out permanently. And by the way, you know who would know that? The FBI director and the former attorney for the Southern District of New York, as James Comey is, a man who would spend his time in New York as the U.S. attorney there, investigating and going after mafia murderers and hitmen and bosses. And they use terms like that. Of course he knows what it means.
They just want me to talk about him, Charlie.
I know.
You see what that fucking idiot's posting in Vegas chat, JT?
A lot of journalists, a lot of activists, bulwark.
I don't take my streams down.
They're finding
everything I've done has been left up. I haven't removed anything.
Who may have posted during Biden's administration 8646, right? So isn't this the same? Isn't this the same? Well, actually, no, it's not. And allow me to explain. First of all, hey, great gotcha.
Now I'm going to put out there are some people that I block so I don't see them in Vegas no more. Right? So, so if I don't respond to your nonsense, that's why.
It's also not the same as the former FBI director
Seriously.
who has held himself up.
Certain people I block.
Sanctimonious voice of truth, justice, and the
just like I did Rory, because I don't know who Rory is. Also, I don't know who fucking Ernie is.
Joe Biden was not the victim of 2 assassination attempts within the last 10
and they'll
months.
never know I fucking blocked him.
So yeah, the stakes are a little higher.
Unless I go in with
the
my,
tension is a little bit more palpable.
I'm sitting here with just the one phone, so I'll leave my stream, go to Vegas, and post to this.
Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, as well as
there's another one, Sinman. There's another fucking British boy blatting like a motherfucker.
Went so far as to say you should be behind bars. Of course, Castro. Tulsi Gabbard is not really in the line of command.
I don't have any reason to go to Ottawa.
It's
really she's not welcome with me. I tried fucking years ago.
So what is the
I asked her to go to the casino. She thought I wanted to fuck her.
And interview him today?
He's going to be escorted by the Secret Service.
Okay.
As the last arrangement we were told of, to their field office and be interviewed. That means he's not under arrest. He's not in custody. He's not charged. And he's coming in voluntarily. And remember who we're talking about.
Oh, so they're good. James Comey's in trouble.
Director. He's the former United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. He was the Deputy Attorney General.
He made a death threat against the president.
He knows.
8647. That's code talk.
And the case law behind that. So I think what you're going to see is this interview is going to happen. That'll be referred to the U.S.
And this thing about some country making a plane for a presidential plane.
Decision other than
that was negotiated under Biden over a year ago.
But that could be a long time.
I love how reporters pontificate on CNN. Now, here's what I think is going to happen. Hey, I've got an idea. How about you tell us the news? How about you tell us the news and then leave the analysis to the people who are paid to be analysts? But they got to jump in. Oh, it's going to be hard for them to find anything that's really not so fast. I mean, there are times in American history where the appropriate way for the Justice Department to behave and to mete out justice is to take a rather heavy hand to send a message. Sometimes, especially when you're talking about a president who has suffered 2 assassination attempts, one coming within a millimeter of his skull, the bullet raced past his skull, clipped his ear. And that was less than 10 months ago. Maybe the Justice Department needs to send a clear and decisive message that even cutesy crap like this will not be tolerated at a time of heightened tensions. Sometimes you scrutinize even the smallest threats to send a message.
Rack of ribs.
You know how I know that? You know how I have that opinion about these things? Well, because I learned it from this guy who was asked about what should be done with every single person who walked into the Capitol on January 6th. Here, take a listen to the opinion of this guy.
How important is it for the FBI to track down those responsible and follow up on it, even though it may be incredibly time consuming? And for some people, it might just be a case of trespassing.
It's important that every last person who entered that Capitol be found and charged. They need to feel the force of the rule of law. That they need to feel the American people's will to make sure that we're a country that doesn't accept attacks on our democracy. I know my colleagues at the FBI are honored and excited to do this work, and will do it 24 hours a day until they find every one of them.
They need to feel the full weight of the American law on them. Those are the people, the grandmas, who walked through the door that was held open by a cop in the Capitol on January 6th. That's James Comey. That's the sanctimonious jerk I referred to earlier. And I've got more to say about him. But see, if the full weight of law is supposed to be imposed on the J6ers, many of whom did nothing wrong by any objective measure, if that's James Comey's way of advising the FBI on how they should do their job, then what then should we do about James Comey? In this heightened, tense area, while the president is abroad doing the business of the United States on international land, and coming just 10 months after an assassination attempt, when James Comey, the man so respected and looked up to by the people who would do Trump wrong, when he sends a message like this, shouldn't we follow the Comey standard here? Shouldn't we? 877-381-3811. No, we're not over this story. We're just getting started. I'm Larry O'Connor. It's the Mark Levin Show.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
In today's unpredictable world, Byrna offers a smarter, safer way to protect yourself. Trusted by over 500 government agencies, the Byrna less lethal pistol launcher is designed to incapacitate attackers without permanent harm, giving you time to escape or get help. Take Lauren's story, confronted by an aggressive man who wouldn't back down despite attempts to de-escalate. Lauren was thankful for his Byrna launcher. One shot incapacitated the attacker, allowing police to intervene without anyone suffering irreparable harm. Byrna is legal across all 50 states, requires no background checks, and ships right to your door. Proudly assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana, over 500,000 units have been sold. For you, my listeners, get 10% off at Byrna.com/Levin. That's BYRNA.com/LEVIN. Protect yourself and your family the smart way with Byrna. You must be 18 years old, so visit Byrna.com/Levin.
On 395 in the express lanes northbound at 110, an accident blocks the right lane. Use caution there. Main lanes are still northbound from 110 to the 14th Street Bridge. And you will find delays on the freeway between the 14th Street Bridge and the 3rd Street Tunnel in each direction. Outbound Suitland Parkway still jams up from South Capitol Street towards Stanton Road. In Fairfax, watch out for a crash northbound on the Fairfax County Parkway at Pope's Head Road. That currently blocks the right lane.
All right.
Still an accident
I'm not going to eat
express
this
lane
on camera.
On the outer loop between 66
I won't be able to
and
type because my fingers are going to get barbecue sauce on it. So
tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low around 69. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. Morning showers and storms likely, a high near 87.
We are the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org. Clarity and context for a complex world.
I'm going to be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Making sense of the headlines, making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnades.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much. Weekdays, noon to 3. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
As a young adult at this point in your life,
Hey, coffee man, you talked me into it.
What's next? What does my future hold? The thing is,
Men and women are a lot alike. Okay?
Your friendships.
Watching my woman eat gets me excited.
So
All right?
you choose? As you make choices about
The best way to a woman's heart is right through her stomach.
help bring a fulfilling path into focus.
So we're gonna let Mary Bernie watch me eat these ribs.
To
Fuck
learn
it.
more, visit today'smilitary.com.
Really, if you're in the professional deal, it's not really a good idea to eat on TV. But on Fox, they talk about that Pete Hetzeg was always eating on TV.
Launching the all-new U.S. Soccer podcast. Episodes will go beyond the field with players, coaches, and legends to bring you honest conversations and untold stories. This is where soccer will come to life. The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platforms.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will. We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades. Weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Larry O'Connor sitting in for Mark Levin here. I asked a simple question. Should we just let this go? This James Comey thing is being questioned by the Secret Service. CNN's reporting. It's interesting, well, I'll get into the details of the questioning in a second, but what do you think? 877-381-3811, or should we throw the book at him? Because here's the thing. I just played audio of James Comey back in the day talking about January 6ers, and he said, they need to feel the full force of the rule of law. They need to feel the full force of the rule of law, he said, of people who maybe were only guilty of trespassing on January 6th. Why? Because we as a government, as a country, as a Justice Department, we need to send a message. That's what James Comey thought. He's an expert on these things. How did he conduct himself as the FBI director? Did he always pursue everything with the rule of law, truth, justice, American way, pristine? What did he call his book? A higher calling? Wasn't that the name of this book? A higher loyalty, even better. What a sanctimonious jerk. He has spent years pretending he's above it all. The only loyalty Comey's got is to his own ego. But since it's the Comey standard, let's take a look at how he used the rule of law against people he didn't like.
How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration.
Back to James Comey.
The George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. The protocol, two men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough. Let's just send a couple guys over. And so we placed a call to Flynn, said, hey, we're sending a couple guys over. Hope you'll talk to them. He said, sure. Nobody else was there. They interviewed him in a conference room at the White House Situation Room, and he lied to them.
Now, that's James Comey yucking it up and playing to the crowd and joking around about how he bypassed what would normally be normal procedures and policies with regard to interviewing the National Security Advisor. That's Mike Flynn, General Michael Flynn, that he's referring to when he calls him Flynn. And they just went to the White House. Would have never done it under Bush, he said, would have never done it in a different administration, but we did it with Trump. And we entrapped this guy, got him he claims that he lied. So that's how Comey did business as FBI director. So does he deserve a break here, or do you think that he should get the Comey treatment? See, it's a funny thing. He posted this picture and then he took it down. He said, I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea that that could be interpreted as a threat. You know, if he says that to Secret Service and FBI who are interviewing him today, I think it's just Secret Service, if he maintains that line, that message, and it turns out that he absolutely knew, well, that's lying.
He's in trouble.
That's exactly what Mike Flynn was guilty of, allegedly. Yeah, I think we should treat him like Comey would treat Comey. What do you think? Larry O'Connor from Mark Levin.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless that comes with a lot of fine print, like requiring you to sign up for 4 lines plus activation fees. And at the end of the day, you paid for that free phone 3 times over. Pure Talk is my sponsor, my wireless company. They have a much better offer. With a qualifying plan of just $35 a month, you can get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A26 for free. All you need to do is switch to Pure Talk. For just $35 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, more than you'll ever need, with mobile hotspot, all on one of America's most dependable 5G networks. Now, pound 250, say keyword Mark Levin, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in as little as 10 minutes. That's pound 250, say Mark Levin, for your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan from Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans, for Americans.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. We're learning more about a terrifying incident yesterday in White Oak, where a 2-year-old boy fell from a balcony on the 15th story of the Enclave Apartments. The toddler landed in bushes. We're learning today that he broke his leg and has multiple internal injuries, but is expected to survive. Police are looking into what made him fall, but haven't filed any charges. Moody's strips the U.S. government of its top credit rating, lowering the bond rating from a gold standard AAA to AA1, citing the failure of multiple administrations and Congress to rein in spending to stop a rising tide of debt.
These fuckers stick, boy. Them fuckers stick. Wicked.
Exceptional credit strengths, such as size, resilience, and dynamism of its economy. Traffic and weather next.
Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful. You can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood. Even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like
come to my window. I'll be home soon.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, I just noticed you. JC's welcome to show. She's welcome to come if she wants. I haven't been picking on her lately. I said her name a couple times earlier.
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once.
I got another half a rack of ribs when I get hungry later. I have a valid driver's license. Right there it is, Patrick Rowe. Patrick Rowe, come up and show your driver's license. I dare you. Come up and show your valid driver's license. Expires in 2028.
Like, what's next? What does my future hold?
Huh?
There's no right answer. Only
Rusty, you gonna treat me like Scott Canning? Look at.
And purpose. It's all your choice.
There's the number. Go ahead, contact fucking DMV. I dare you.
The military can be a resource for information
or the cops.
Path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like
I get the best credit you can have.
They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming.
If you go and buy a car, it'd be nice to have the money to just buy it outright and not finance the fucking thing. That's a fact.
Kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation.
You guys want to fucking try to make fun of my rental furniture. First time I rented furniture was in Charleston, South Carolina in 84, when I moved there.
Because let's face it, money's too important to win.
Forget where I got the furniture when I was, might have bought it in Virginia. I think about it.
You name it, anything that's on your mind.
Furniture rental has been around for a long time, since the 80s anyways.
It is a wide-ranging squirrel conversation.
Mine's all paid off though.
Finance and good financial planning. Super
My table, my desk. I bought that Chase Lounge couch and the recliner. I got a couple other. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other pieces that I bought a refrigerator from them.
3811. I'm Larry O'Connor. I'm in for the great one, Mark Levin, today. And by the way, Mark has announced his new book. It looks amazing. Pre-sale.
It's all right, hey girl.
July. Get it now. It's called On Power by Mark Levin. The cover looks amazing.
I got on you. He said, "Angry spammer." Rusty's just angry. That's all there is to it. That bitch is just angry. She can't be happy with what she has. She just, there's just no satisfaction there at all.
That's very cool. And then you say, okay, the book will be delivered on July 29th, but you've done. Just do it now. It's called On Power by Mark Levin. You can get it at marklevinshow.com. I'm looking at the news headlines. It's like there's barely a mention of a former FBI director who has held himself up to be the stalwart representative of
James Comey's going to get I told you a long time ago, the wheels of justice can be slow. That motherfucker should have been in jail a long time ago.
And he put together a message on Instagram that he claims he just stumbled upon on the beach, took a picture of it, and then claimed he had.
I'm not mad at you, hey girl. You know I'm not. I don't hold a grudge. Not unless they pound on me like
Donald Trump.
And normally, Logical. Logical has 10 robots against my one account. I'm not even trying. I could line up 7 phones and bust that chat up, out spam them, no problem. But I don't. It's not why I'm there. Yeah, this is big news.
Donald Trump is a fascist, an authoritarian, a danger to the Constitution. James Comey was chief among them. That he's corrupt, that he's crooked, that he worked with a foreign power to steal the election. And it's funny, there's some unhinged individuals out there, they hear stuff like that from someone that they're told is the man who only speaks the truth. He's perfect in every way. He's Cardinal Comey. And they might do some pretty...
I got a point to make, hey girl, in a second.
When they see someone like that given the order,
I should go look up the thing that fucking idiot posted. Wheat and Shaw.
Also, Donald Trump happens to be a president who has survived 2 assassination attempts. One of them, a near miss where a bullet came.
Wheat and Shaw thinks that Mina's husband is doing the wrong thing, being a,
Trump is taking it seriously.
Being a patriot and serving his country. He's a Marine. You're a fucking idiot, Wheat and Shaw.
The FBI director,
fat fuck.
That meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason, and he was hit so hard. Because people like me, and they like what's happening with our country. Our country's become respected again, and all this. And he's calling for the assassination of the president.
Obviously, he apologized and said he wasn't calling for violence. But
look, he's a very good.
What do you want to see happen? What do you want to see happen?
I don't want to take a position on it because that's going to be up to Pam and all of the great people. But I will say this: I think it's a terrible thing.
Yeah, he's right about that, and I don't actually see him obviously apologizing. I saw him put up a cover your butt post on Instagram, saying that he had no idea. And if this was taken this wrong way, I'm terribly sorry. He said, here's what he said. This is an apology. You tell me what
Holy fuck.
I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associated those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me that I opposed violence of any kind, so I took the post down. Did you see an apology there? Am I missing something? Did you see I'm sorry? Did you see I regret this? Did you see?
Yeah, well, some people need to say something.
Did you hear the words apologize?
In fact, I'm going to bring it up.
Expression of regret. He didn't apologize. I'm sorry, Brett Bear. No, there's no apology there. And now that the Secret Service is questioning him,
I'm going to find it.
If he sticks with that story, hey, I just stumbled upon these shells here. I had no idea. And there's any evidence, which I think should be pretty easy to find, that in fact he didn't just stumble upon it, but he actually made that message himself, which that's what I suspect is the case. Well, now you've got him lying to federal authorities and obstruction of justice. That's what he would go after Mike Flynn for. That's what he would go after people trespassing on the Capitol building on January 6th for. They need to feel the full weight of U.S. law, is what James Comey said about those people. So what do you think? We'll go to Lance first. Lance in Rochester, New York. Hey, Lance, thanks for calling. You're on the Mark Levin Show. I'm Larry O'Connor.
Hi, Larry. Well, I just had to call in because I noticed that the seashells are of a uniform shape and size and color. And it's highly unlikely that they could have been found, so many of the same could be found.
Hey, Tiffany, just take one look at that, okay? And forget about all your troubles.
A great observation, Lance. That is a great observation.
I'm sure that score can be found.
Now, I see Queen T is in Vegas right now. I see her posted.
That bought those seashells. And if that storekeeper identifies James Comey as the purchaser of those seashells, then we've got a very interesting situation.
Lance, did you ever work for the FBI? Because they could we should call our buddy Bongino and see if you could be a recruit. This is great investigative skill you're showing here. Lance. All right, Lance. I think we're having Yeah, thank you, buddy. I think we're having trouble with our phones, but I'm glad we got Lance's message in there. We'll try to straighten that up. Yeah, and I know that there are people out there who's like, oh, this is why I have a problem with MAGA. This is why I have a problem with right-wing conservative polemic talk show hosts. They make a big deal out of this thing. Why are you making a big deal? And you've got a double standard. Actually, there is a double standard out there. There's been a double standard in our criminal justice system for many years. I think we've seen it play out. I'm actually trying to use their standard against them. I told you already, the Comey standard. Comey was asked about people, even if they just walked through the door on January 6th and they're guilty of nothing more than trespassing, which also I think is a bogus charge. He said every single one of them should be brought in and arrested, he said, by the FBI. They need to feel the full force of the rule of law. Well, how is this different? How is this different? And yeah, speaking of double standards, again, why are you making there's more important things to talk about, like the reconciliation bill. Okay, we'll talk about the reconciliation bill. We got 3 hours. We got plenty to talk about. Why can't you just let this go? This is the problem. Yeah, you know what? Forgive me.
Sun's shining in the other room there. You can see the American flag glare. Well, I can anyways, glaring in my screen.
Telling me that he's the second coming of the Third Reich. Telling me that he's an authoritarian. I've seen the entire apparatus of the Democrat Party and their pals in the legacy media over the course of the last election cycle tell me that if Donald Trump won the presidency in November of 24, which he did in glorious landslide fashion, I was told that if he won that election, it would be the last election we have in this country. I remember these things. I mean, forgive me for standing up and saying, no, we're not going to let this crap slide by, because I don't know if you remember, but I remember about
it, fat boy.
News cycle.
Come on, Pudgy.
From people across the board in the American media, and every single leader and
my screen jumping, whatever. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Called for violence in the streets and race riots when during the debate he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand.
Yeah, I get a screenshot of that.
Stand back and stand by, and that became.
That's been on my mind for quite some time now.
So forgive me for being a little sensitive. Forgive me for demanding that standards apply across the board. Forgive me for being a little sensitive to the fact that it still hasn't truly come out exactly all of the details of the first assassination attempt. I don't know anything about that guy who shot a bullet at Donald Trump's face and grazed his ear. But it sure seems like things like this should be taken seriously.
Piano teeth.
Especially when it comes from a man like James Comey, who, you know, has a higher loyalty. Yeah, he should be investigated. And if he tells one lie to federal investigators, throw the freaking book at him. I'm Larry O'Connor, in for the Mark Levin Show.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
On 95 southbound in Springfield, between the Franconia Springfield Parkway and the Fairfax County Parkway, an accident blocks the two left lanes. That has traffic jam from the Beltway. Delays continue southbound between Lorton and Woodbridge. Earlier incident on 395, the express lanes at 110 cleared, but northbound main lane still slow from 110 to the 14th Street Bridge. And the accident on the outer loop of the Beltway after Landover Road has been moved to the left shoulder, but it is still slow on the outer
My
loop.
screen's fucking
Metro. Now
fluttering.
from StoryTerror.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low around 69. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. Morning showers and storms likely, a high near 87.
These days, when it comes to news, the World Wide Web is more like the Wild Wild West.
It makes you want to throw something, doesn't it?
So where can you go to make sense of your world online? Depend on WMAL.com.
Thanks, hey girl.
Stream your favorite WMAL shows. Access our podcast archives.
Keep tripping.
Awesome, hilarious, entertaining, educational. For a local news source you can trust.
Wow.
Visit WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences.
Will Durant is so desperate.
So what will
He's
you choose?
recruited
As
Queen
you make
T.
choices about the future, the military can be a resource.
Queen
for
T is
information
Team
helping
Will
them
Durant.
to focus. A public service
One
message
person
from the
Wolfie
Department of
called
Defense. To learn
Ancient
more,
Ape.
visit today's
Isn't that
military.com.
nice? Wow.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true?
Looks like Wolfie broke his heart.
Fight a critical illness.
Dumb fucker.
Just imagine what you'd do. See, wishes are so powerful. You can make them real.
Wow.
Give a child
Will
that
Durant enlisting the help of Queen T, but he's pro-Trump. What a fake motherfucker you are, Will Durant.
Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish@wish.org.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke.
I should go 2 days, not smoke a joint, go live, and show you what I'm really about.
They may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm
Look for
Jin.
fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit
JT, you ever considered as a psychiatrist getting a job with the Veterans Administration or the Navy hires doctors?
It used to be that any able-bodied
PTSD is
person
real.
to assist a
There's
police
nothing
officer
in your
in
life would cause
Now,
PTSD
passing
without
by
you
are
being
more
into
likely to
service.
take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an
Not unless
officer
Al Qaeda
comes.
sliced your
Call
mother's head off in front of you.
911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement,
It's like
visit
AI is trying to take over my
nationalpolice.org.
screen.
That's nationalpolice.org.
My meter reads 9.
But there is help, and it's free.
Go to creditfairy.org.
You're really retarded there, logical fallacy. You are a fucking retard. What a punk motherfucker you are.
And the Ad Council.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before. Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save.
Blowing smoke.
When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people pay to share their opinions, and this app plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for what you do.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You give me hope.
Making sense of the news.
Hey, it's Chris the Planet. Find out what the media don't want you to know. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
You don't need to eat a whole bag of them at once. Pretty rich.
And we're talking about James Comey and what should be done with James Comey, because here's the thing. If you're wondering if he should be in some way prosecuted or arrested for making a palpable threat to the President of the United States, I don't know if the evidence rises to that. But see, here's the funny thing about the Comey standard, and that's what we're working with here.
Wind blowing through the door.
The Comey standard. You see, it's not necessarily about what he originally did here with the 8647 seashell trick. He's so cute. No, now he's being questioned by federal law enforcement investigators, Secret Service, maybe the FBI. Now, anything he says, if it's found to be untrue, that's it. Lying to a federal law enforcement officer, obstruction of justice, and honor. This is how Comey works. That's what they did to General Mike Flynn. That's what they did to George Papadopoulos. That's what they did to anybody that got caught up in the Russian collusion investigation that was based on nothing, based on worse than nothing, based on a fraud, a fake, a lie, a campaign dirty trick paid for by Hillary Clinton that paralyzed the first 2 years of the Trump administration. But it's the Comey standard. So what happens when they question him now, right? Well, here's Jim Jordan commenting on this earlier today with Bill Hemmer on Fox, because I think they isolated two very important critical data points here that go past the 8647 thing, which is already risible, that's already palpably obnoxious and obscene. That one thinks that it's okay to say something about that, about a sitting president of the United States who has very real enemies because of the BS drummed up by people like James Comey and his pals at MSNBC, and who has already survived 2 assassination attempts in 10 months. That's bad enough. But then there's this.
He did say this online. I did not realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. In what world does that fly?
I mean, I don't think it does. The idea that he may have stumbled on this and someone else arranged it and he took a picture of it and posted it, I find that a little hard to believe as well. Maybe that happened. What I do know is Secretary Noem's investigating, the Secret Service are investigating, and I think Kash Patella said he'll leave it there right now, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and so here it is. James Comey, in being questioned by federal authorities now, has a choice. He can continue with this story. I had no idea. I just found those shells. They happened to be in that position, and I took a picture of it, and I posted it. And I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea that it could be interpreted as a threat. Those are two incredulous things that I don't think anybody believes. Nobody believes that he just happened upon these shells that, as our caller Lance from Rochester just pointed out, look store-bought. They're exactly the same. You're on the beach and you see seashells that look exactly the same. How often does that happen? Right? Same size, same shape, same color. Picked it up at a Hobby Lobby or something. Allegedly. I'm hypothetically pondering what could have been the case. So you got that fact point. If he says to the Secret Service and federal law enforcement officials, they were just there. Those shells just happened to be there. And that's found to be untrue. And then secondly, even more ridiculously, I had no idea that 8647 could be interpreted in any possible way that would suggest a violent act. I had no idea. That just would have never occurred to me. As Jim Jordan just said, on both of those data points, those are completely unbelievable. Nobody believes that. If he repeats those lies, which I believe are lies, to federal law enforcement officials, well, now that's it. Case closed. You go after him for obstruction of justice and lying to officials. And maybe then you can even pursue something against him for a palpable threat of violence against the President of the United States. James Comey has a choice. You continue the lie and face the potential of criminal prosecution because that's the Comey standard. That's what Comey would do. Or he comes clean. See, if you're asking my
this fucker's
advice,
got me blocked. I'm gonna have to start keeping my handles secret.
I know the neighborhood you live in, and I know that there's nothing else to listen to right now. I promise. I know that for a fact. You're right in my market. You're right on WMAL. I'm sure you're tuned in. You want my advice, Jim? I think what you need to do is step up. Because, listen, let's be clear. I read this somewhere that James Comey answers to,
Fucker.
What was the way he put it? I can't remember. A higher loyalty. Jim Comey has a higher loyalty. You're doing God's work, Jim, and God doesn't want you to bear false witness. God doesn't want you to lie. Here's what you have to do. You have to come clean to all your Instagram followers, just like the unserious teeny bopper that you are. Get on your Instagram story, tell the truth in a selfie video, and say, here's the thing, guys. Hey, it's me, Jim. Hey, guys. I didn't just stumble upon those shells. I did that. I did the message, and I did it on purpose. I just wanted to get attention. It's been a while since any of you talked to me. So, listen, it's Insta. People do that, Got to get my likes, got to get my follows. And yes, of course, I know what 8647 means, and probably shouldn't have said that. It is Trump after all, and he's fascist, but still, he did win the election. He's a duly elected president. We probably shouldn't make any sort of violent threats or even suggestions of violent threats. So that was wrong. I'm sorry. But there you go. That's the truth. Okay, can we just move on now? Can everybody buy my book? See, that's what Jim Comey should do. And he should do it just like that because he's acting like a teenage girl. And that's the choice you've got, Jim. And I think you should take that choice. I think the only way out of this mess you've created for yourself is to basically admit to the world that you are an unserious, ridiculous, pathetic liar. Because that's the truth. And if you don't admit that, if you don't come clean and you continue these lies, well, things could get pretty rough for you. Because it's the Comey standard. We've learned from the best, Jim. So let's see what happens. Either way, the fact that this thing gets memory hold already, that this thing disappears, that this thing is just not worthy of discussion or attention, because, we've got much more important stories to talk about here. We can't possibly spend time about a former FBI director that we held up as the icon of truth, justice, and the American way for the last 10 years of our lives. We couldn't possibly talk about him lying and putting out a palpable threat against Donald Trump. Now, we've got more important things to talk about, like I'm sorry, I'm lost. I think it's kind of important. That said, coming up, did the Supreme Court really just stop the Trump administration from deporting Venezuelans? No.
Making sense of your world
I can't believe this. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
And I go with you.
Making sense of the news.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably
Wow,
have a lot
I
of
found
questions, like
an
what's
account
next?
she doesn't
What does
have
my
blocked.
future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS. SIDS? You know, sudden infant death syndrome. Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Join us at mda75.org. We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. A setback in the Trump administration's efforts to deport alleged gang members under the Alien Enemies Act. The Supreme Court rejects the administration's emergency appeal to quickly resume deportations using it. The justices ruled 7-2 that the Trump administration needs to give a group of alleged Venezuelan gang members more time to appeal their planned deportations to El Salvador, saying the 24 hours given weren't enough. The ruling says, quote, "To be clear, we decide today only that the detainees are entitled to more notice than was given." Unquote.
It's happening.
The question about the legality of the case was not answered. The court sent the case back to an appeal.
It's happening.
That decision. President Trump writing in all caps on Truth Social, quote, "The Supreme Court."
Queen T, here you go.
Of our country. The legal
I got a whole fucking table full.
Deportation continued in a Maryland courtroom today. The judge said the Trump administration's justification for using the state's secrets privilege to not answer questions.
Queen T's talking on her ass again. Just come on up, bitch. Come on, bring your foul mouth up here.
Frimpong is part of Abrego Garcia's wife's legal team.
From the questions that
Come on, you chicken shit.
asking and the way in which the hearing was going, even though it seemed very clear that she was not buying the government's arguments, it appears.
You're the reason I opened my panel up tonight, Tammy. See if you're fucking brave enough to come up here.
They've provided significant information.
Just you and me, Tammy.
One big beautiful bill doesn't make it out of the budget committee. 5 Republicans joined.
And then, we'll ad-lib.
Democratic Delegate Stacey Plaskett.
We watch Republicans give away the farm to greedy billionaires, the CEOs and corporations, making permanent tax cuts.
Republican Congressman Marlon Stutzman argued.
I'm not losing my benefits, Tammy, you dumb fucker.
We have in our districts that work hard.
What an idiot.
At jobs where they make tips.
You don't have to pay.
I don't get SNAP.
That's gotta be a huge boost.
SNAP isn't part of the VA
Andy
package.
says there's no tax on overtime.
You have to go to social services and apply for it. I don't apply for food stamps.
The committee is expected to reconvene on Monday. A sentence handed down to a serial rapist who attacked strangers in D.C.
You're an idiot.
Following guilty plea to
Damn
multiple
it.
charges surrounding a trio of violent sexual attacks, 42-year-old Jose Gomez has learned his fate. He will spend the next 35 years in prison for assaulting 3 women between July and October of 2018 at various locations in the district. Combining DNA and other evidence helped to solve the crimes. Gomez was arrested in Louisville back in June of 2023 and returned to this area. He's been in jail ever since. In addition to Gomez's prison term, he faces supervised release and must register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Scotland on WMAL at WMAL.com.
A recent bid by the Percival Town Council to ditch its police department failed, but we can see why the idea was floated.
A horde of Vikings will no more descend on Percival to pillage and burn than they have the communities of Round Hill or Hamilton.
The town's vice mayor wanted to disband, and maybe he had a point. A new report from security research firm Safewise has declared Purcellville the second safest city in Virginia, right behind Bridgewater. Last year, Purcellville came in number 1 with the ratings based on FBI crime data. The town's interim police chief credits the dedication of its officers. And they all still have jobs, thanks to townfolk who complained loudly enough, like this woman.
Shame on all of you, truly.
John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Traffic from other next.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
About that 8, read 3. I got 8 people watching.
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who
Second hour of the Levin show.
Preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Here's Michelle Murray.
Hey, Empress, remember when you threatened to cut his throat with a box cutter?
Trees and wires that due to the recent storms. Hopper Road is still closed in Germantown between Long Draft Road and Game Preserve Road. On Maryland 28 between Berryville Road and Whites Ferry Road in Darnestown, there's a fallen tree there. And
I wonder if she has my one account blocked.
North Portal Drive. Watch out for the fallen wires in the roadway. On 95 in Springfield, there is still crash activity. Southbound between the Franconia and Springfield Parkway and the Fairfax County Parkway with the 2 left lanes blocked and traffic is jammed up from the Beltway.
We'll have to make a new one. Go find her.
Road moved to the left shoulder, but it is still jammed on the outer loop from Pennsylvania Avenue to the Greenbelt Metro exit. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
A severe thunderstorm watch for the entire area.
Yeah, she's got it blocked. You fucking coward.
Instances of isolated flooding. Temperatures this evening, low to mid 70s. High temperatures Saturday, the upper 80s. Chance of showers and storms during the morning. I'm 7 News Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson in the First Alert Weather Center.
Right now, 72 in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
Thanks for tuning in here. I'm a radio talk show host in Washington, D.C. on WMAL. That's Mark's home station in the nation's capital. I also do a daily show for Town Hall Media across all their websites, Town Hall, Hot Air, Red State, PJ Media, Twitchy, and Bearing Arms, and also across all of their social media platforms. I also want to tell you that Mark Levin's Life, Liberty, and Levin this weekend is going to be lit. Mark Thiessen and Gordon Chang on Saturday, and Doran Spielman and Representative Brian Mass on Sunday. We got some breaking news that I want to share with you. The Robert Hur testimony of Joe Biden. This is the testimony that Robert Hur concluded would prohibit Joe Biden from being prosecuted by a jury for his mishandling of classified documents, not because he was innocent of violating the law. No. He would not be prosecuted because the jury would show him sympathy because he's a doddering fool. Well, Axios, the same website that spent years covering up the mental and physical and cognitive decline of the commander-in-chief. Well, Axios has a reporter named Alex Thompson who's got a book to sell with the odious, sanctimonious Jake Tapper, and they've obtained the audio of the Robert Hur testimony. Let's take a listen.
So during this time, we were living in Chambers Road, and there were documents related to the Penn Biden Center for the Biden cancer shot. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actively working on?
Well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 18 time period?
Yes, sir.
Remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time.
All right. You can hear Biden there. You just heard him ask a question about the documents and when they were stored. He said, first of all, long, uncomfortable pauses. He then asked, when was this, 2017, 2018? The investigator says, yes, sir. He pauses and he says, well, you got to remember, this is around the time that my son was deployed or dying. His son died in 2015 and was deployed a couple of years before that. And obviously, it's a mental lapse. It's obviously something disconcerting and terrifying, number one. Oh, he had good days and bad days. But also, I find this, every time he does this Joe Biden, oh, man, I beat the dead horse. Let's move on from Biden. Joe Biden is one of the most despicable and odious public officials that the United States has ever produced in the last 100 years. I'm not going to make comments on the 19th century because I wasn't around. Joe Biden may have been. It's an age joke. Every single aspect of Joe Biden's public career has been lamentable and worthy of outrage or ridicule or both. And this little thing that he does all the time, he's being questioned by a U.S. attorney about his violation of the law in obtaining, keeping, and showing great disregard for top secret classified government documents that he had no business being in possession of. And he immediately goes, well, my son died. He does this all the time. During the debate, when Donald Trump was pointing out the corruption of his son Hunter, Joe suddenly starts talking about his other son, Bo, who died. Because
why don't you have that fucking beard? You're starting to look like Bad Santa, you stool pusher.
He uses the corpse of his own dead son to make you feel sorry for him so you'll stop challenging him on his own guilt. He's a horrible man. And you better believe I enjoy seeing his legacy and any memory of his presidency flushed down the toilet where it belongs. So there he is, 2017, 2018. This story just broke, by the way. This audio just broke within the last hour, and you're hearing it first here. Was it 2017, 2018? Yes, sir, it was. Oh, you got to remember, my son was deployed or dead. His son had been dead for years in 2017 or 2018. All right, here's a little bit more.
That were encouraging me to run in this period.
Nope.
Except the president.
You got to be nice to the host. Can't be making derogatory remarks. Fuck you.
And so I had at this point, on a pen, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I might run for office again. If I ran again, running for president. And so what was happening though, when Bo died, May 2015,
These are aides of his, advisors, reminding the president of the United States when his son died, what year his son died. They have to repeat it because he challenged the question. 2015? They all reaffirmed, 2015. 2015. When Robert Hur issued his findings in his investigation.
That's the sun shining
Joe
on the wall
Scarborough,
there.
Mika Brzezinski, Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, Anderson Cooper, Wolf Blitzer, George Stephanopoulos, David Muir, all the ladies on the View panel, the Washington Post, the New York Times, mainstream legacy corporate owned media, the shameless liars that I write about in my book titled Shameless Liars. They all attacked Robert Hur. How dare he suggest in this document that Joe Biden is anything but completely capable of being president of the United States. How dare he reach these conclusions? How dare he say this? Who is he to say? Who is he? And the rest of us was like, hey, there's one way to solve this. Just release the video and then we'll know. Well, you can't do that. No. Well, wait a second. You're attacking Robert Hur. Robert Hur is a U.S. attorney for the Justice Department who had I assume he had a pretty pristine record. I hadn't heard anything bad about him until he dared to tell the truth about Joe Biden. What is Robert Hur's crime? Why was Robert Hur, the U.S. attorney, slammed and criticized and dragged through the slime in Washington, D.C. and across all of these media outlets by the likes of Mika Brzezinski? What was his crime? He told the truth. But he told the truth about one of theirs, you see. Now, they celebrate federal law enforcement officials, whether they're FBI investigators, Capitol Hill police officers, or U.S. attorneys. They celebrate them if they tell lies about their political enemies. And they vilify and demonize them if they tell the truth about their friends. That's who these people in the media are. And only now are you learning about this, about Joe Biden. Because number one, Jake Tapper wants to make money. Number two, Jake Tapper wants to give him and his pals some cover. Right? So, well, we were lied to. We missed the story. What are you going to do? We asked if Biden was okay. They said he was okay. What are you going to do? They lied. But, I mean, you can't expect us to do anything. If they lie, they lie. Really? What's the point of having White House reporters? What's the point of having a First Amendment and freedom of the press? If all a reporter is going to do is to take a lie that a government official or elected official tells you and then just print it and repeat it. And then after that, I say, oh, my gosh, they lied. Well, what's your job? We don't need you. We don't need the middleman. Let them lie directly to us. We'll actually show more discernment because we can smell their lies a mile away. You clearly can't. What are you going to do? They lie. Don't expect me to do anything about it. I'm just a reporter. The only reason we're hearing about this is that Joe Biden now, they've decided, was a liability. And understand something about Tapper's book. I wasn't even going to talk about this tonight, but this broke, this audio from Robert Hur. So let's talk about it. The name of Tapper's book that you shouldn't buy, do not buy his book, buy my book. I cover what I'm holding it up as if I'm on camera right now because it's just an instinct. My book, Shameless Liars, is available on Amazon, hardcover, paperback, audiobook. I narrate it. It's all about the lies the media told in the 2024 presidential election, all of them. All the Biden lies about his health, the lies about us in the center-right media, who pointed out that Joe Biden was unfit to lead, unfit to serve in office. They lied about it. They called us names. They attacked us, right? And to all the lies about Trump, all the lies about J.D. Vance, all the lies about Tim Walz. And then the thrust of the book, after I go through all the lies, is how Trump defeated them all, how Trump made corporate media irrelevant. He won the presidency without any of them, despite their lies. Because he went direct to you, because that's what the media is now. You are the media, and they can go direct to you. So don't buy Jake Tapper's book. If you want to read about the lies and Biden's decline, buy my book. But the name of Jake Tapper's book is Original Sin. And it's funny. I don't know why they wanted to go all Genesis on it, but the thesis of the book is that Joe Biden was never fit to run for re-election and should never have run for re-election. And they never say who they is. They never name one name, but they or the White House covered up and lied about his true mental, physical, and cognitive state. Now, let me just be clear here. I not to contradict my good buddy Jake Tapper, who is a sanctimonious jerk. The White House did not lie about Joe Biden's condition. I'm sorry, he got it wrong. Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson says the White House lied about Joe Biden. The White House did not lie about Joe Biden. You know how I know that? Because the White House is a building. Buildings don't talk. Buildings neither tell the truth nor tell lies. It's a building. So don't give me this, the White House lied. What you mean is human beings who made big salaries and gained huge influence and now probably work for major corporations making big bucks as consultants or maybe even primetime TV hosts on MSNBC. I'm looking at you, Jen Psaki. What you mean is those people who have names, whose salaries we paid, those people lied. Those people covered up Joe Biden's real condition, and they got off scot-free. You didn't even name them. You tell me that you're doing an investigative journalist book here where you dive in and tell the truth. If you don't give me names, you're not telling me anything. In fact, you're still participating in the cover-up. Maybe you shouldn't have sent the manuscript to the publisher until you asked a few more questions and got us a name. But the whole thesis here, that the original sin, the big crime, was that he was never fit to run for office. That's not the crime. You see, when they say original sin, you know what they blame him for? You know what they blame Joe Biden for here? They blame Joe Biden for letting Trump win. That's the sin. That's the sin. New Yorker had an article. They had an excerpt from the book. And the headline of the article is how Joe Biden handed the presidency to Donald Trump. That's what they're angry about. That's what they're outraged about. You see, Donald Trump couldn't possibly have beaten Hillary Clinton in 2016 because he had the right policies, the right message. You found Hillary Clinton to be an odious criminal. And you, the people, voted for Donald Trump. No, that couldn't possibly be it. So it had to be Russian collusion, Vladimir Putin, and spying. And this time around, Donald Trump didn't beat Kamala Harris in a sweep, winning the popular vote and winning every single one of the battleground states. No, that couldn't possibly be it. Joe Biden handed it to Donald Trump. You see, they're angry at Joe because Donald Trump won. But nowhere in this entire conversation, as they say, he should have never run and he was never fit to run, nowhere does anyone stand up and say, excuse me, if he wasn't fit to run, then how in the hell was he fit to serve? If he couldn't campaign for president, how in the hell could he actually function as president? And that never comes up. They lied to us. They lied to us in the campaign. He should have never run. He should have never been sitting behind that desk. And they can never reach that conclusion because they'd have to look at themselves in the mirror. I'm Larry O'Connor. It's the Mark Levin Show.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Memorial Day is almost here. What will you be flying? A faded, flimsy, overseas-made flag with frayed edges? Or a durable, high-quality American flag that is truly built to honor our nation and the people who fought for it? One that was hand-sewn right in Charleston, South Carolina, by patriots who love this country? Now, I'm talking about Allegiance Flag Supply, and I'll be flying my Allegiance flag. You still have time to get yours before Memorial Day. This is truly a flag to be revered, a flag you could be proud of. It's also a great gift for the military member in your family, a great Father's Day gift, which is right around the corner. You're not going to find handcrafted Allegiance flags in these big box stores. The only way you can get one is at showallegiance.com. And right now, when you use promo code Levin, you'll get free shipping. So order yours today from Allegiance Flag Supply. May is their busiest month, so make sure you have yours in time. That's Allegiance Flag Supply, promo code Levin, Allegiance Flag Supply, promo code LEVIN. For American flags, made by Americans, for Americans.
We are the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer. Are you ready to join the #1 breast cancer movement in the country? Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
No weakness here. Getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse.
If you're here for Jane Moore, you found the right place.
Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out.
From Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love the movie.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
I was choosing alcohol over my family. That's when I made the call. Now I'm finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
You know, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Erica, an English major at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Dr. Larry Arnn with a Constitution Minute.
The human soul is made to learn, and the highest things of life are the best things to learn. One of these, it turns out, is the way we govern ourselves, and one of the best examples of that is the Constitution of the United States. It explains what our government should look like and how it should function to best protect our rights. It was created to give us the freedom to make choices about the way we wish to live. Unfortunately, most colleges and universities today fail to teach our Constitution. When they do, they often denigrate it. This is dangerous because it is impossible to preserve our liberty if we don't understand where it comes from and how to protect it. Having a proper civics education is essential to preserving our freedom.
To learn more and get a free pocket Constitution, visit constitutionminute.com.
This Constitution Minute was furnished by Hillsdale College.
Making sense of your world.
Talk radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of the border. Because laws either matter or they don't. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Larry O'Connor in for Mark Levin. We got this breaking development. I was going to jump into the Supreme Court decision, which we will get to. I know you're seeing all these headlines that Trump's been stopped. He can't deport any Venezuelans. That's actually not true. It's not a great decision. He did lose the decision, but it's not nearly as wide sweeping as you're seeing. The Supreme Court did not put a halt to all deportations, and they didn't put a halt to all deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. We'll tell you exactly what the Supreme Court did, even though they were wrong. It's not as bad as you're hearing. But we got this audio of the Robert Hur interview with Joe Biden. You just heard the exchange about him not knowing when his son died. And it gets worse, actually.
And in 2017, Bo had passed, and where's this person?
You see again how he's using his grief over his son to deflect from his own wrongdoings. And he just said it again. You just heard the aides earlier say it was 2015. He died in 2015. He died. And then he just literally 40 seconds later says in 2017, Bo had passed. It's awful. The lack of vocal control, the dry whisper, the meandering, the breathy tone. The man had no business being commander-in-chief, which, by the way, begs the question, who was running the country? And everybody always says, well, he used an auto pen. He used an auto pen for this. He used an auto pen. Correct your vernacular on that. Joe Biden did not use the auto pen. Joe Biden didn't have to use an auto pen because, he's Joe Biden. He could use a regular pen. No. Somebody else used the auto pen. Who was that? Who was that? Because we know it wasn't that guy.
My friends, you worked hard your whole life. You've paid your taxes, raised your families, played by the rules. But now you're looking around and wondering, what happened to the country I love? Here's the good news. You're not alone. Millions of patriotic Americans over 50 feel exactly the same way, and they're taking a stand. Taking a stand to bring fairness back, to root out waste and fraud, and proudly standing for our Judeo-Christian values. But you can't do it alone. That's where the Association of Mature American Citizens come in. AMAC is the senior organization that actually aligns with your values, faith, freedom, and common sense. Just $16 a year. Just $16 a year? Wow. You'll join a nationwide movement, and you'll get a subscription to the AMAC magazine, the best of the best. Plus access to money-saving discounts and benefits on things you already use and need. Join now at amac.us/Levin. That's amac.us/LEVIN. You've done your part for this country. Now let the Association of Mature American Citizens do their part for you.
Things are starting to get better around the D.C. area. Still a little bit slow at your bridges. Outer loop slow from Telegraph Road to the Wilson. Inner loop from 123 to the American Legion Bridge. 395 northbound. You will be on the brakes crossing the 14th Street Bridge into the district. In Maryland, still spotty traffic on the inner and outer loops of the Beltway. Kind of stop and go. UW Parkway still heavy and slow in both directions, pretty much between the Beltway up towards 32. 95 looking a little bit better between the Beltways. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, showers and thunderstorms likely, a low around 69. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. Morning showers and storms likely, a high near 87.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and stay connected. Making sense of the border.
Homeland security is right there at the tippy top of American concerns.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
You gotta be tough.
News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
So why real estate?
We keep saying it, but the housing market is shifting more and more towards a buyer's market every week.
Guess what, folks? You can still buy real estate today.
You can buy a quality rental property today
And build an investment portfolio that cash flows monthly.
These are my favorite markets for cash flow.
And build wealth long term.
The world has changed, but the best way to invest in real estate hasn't.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.live.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your clear insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
This is a major wake-up call.
Making sense of the news.
It's your daily adult dosage of the Constitution. The Mark Levin Show. Calling now at 877-381-3811.
Larry O'Connor in for Mark Levin here on the Mark Levin Show. Mark's new book, by the way, out July 29th, but pre-sale right now. Pre-sale is hugely important on books. It's called On Power. Mark Levin, On Power. It's such an iconic title, and the book cover looks amazing. I can't wait to read the book. You can get it, pre-order it now, marklevinshow.com. marklevinshow.com. Can't think of a better Father's Day present for someone in your life, or maybe Independence Day present as well. We should start giving each other presents for Independence Day. I like to call it Independence Day, by the way, not 4th of July. 4th of July is a date. It's like, wait, do you call Christmas December 25th? Hey, happy December 25th. No. Means something. It's Independence Day. That's what I do. That's just a me thing. Get his book. It's called Mark Levin On Power. And all the info is at marklevinshow.com. This story is developing as we speak. We played you a little bit of the Joe Biden, Robert Hur audio. I'm trying to screen it as we go during breaks here because it's one of those kind of stories. It's literally just blown up right now over the course of the last 40 minutes. You heard probably the most important clip as we've got at the moment, which, again, I don't know if you heard the beginning. By the way, Nancy in Philadelphia, stand by there. I want to take your call in a quick second. But as we played this, you know, he went on about, well, so that my son died in 2017, 2018, he was deployed and then he died and then this and then that. And then we were doing this and my son Bo and my son Hunter, they were so close. They were only about a year and a month apart and they could finish each other. And he's going to this rambling, long pauses, getting the dates wrong. His son didn't die in 2017. His son died in 2015. He's talking about deciding to run for president because Obama didn't support him, because Obama thought Hillary would win, which, by the way, it's 2017, which is after the election. Trump had already won. So he's going on this rambling, nonsensical, incoherent response about his son. You may have lost track of it. I did for a minute. I went back and screened it again. Listen to what the actual question was, because it has nothing to do with the question. If you have trouble hearing it, you know what? I'll just read the captions here. You were living at Chain Bridge Road, and there were documents relating to the Penn Biden Center or the Biden Institute or the Cancer Moonshot or your book. Where did you keep papers that related to those things that you were actually actively working on? That was the question. The question was, you were living on Chainbridge Road, which is just in Northern Virginia, right across the Potomac in Washington, D.C. area. You're living on Cambridge Road. You were working at the Penn Center, the Biden Center. You were working on your book about the cancer moonshot. Where did you keep the files related to that you were actively working on? And then he goes on a 4-minute meandering, false, pathetic, bizarre monologue about his son's death. So the guy had no functioning brain. And I'm sorry, I know that people will push back when I say that who was running the White House. So, well, there's no evidence. There's no evidence that he wasn't capable. Really? You know what? I think there was actually some evidence. People are like, oh, you can't show me any evidence in any way whatsoever that Joe Biden wasn't capable. Oh, sure, he had good days and bad days, but he was capable. Let me just be clear here. This is how I know. This is how I know that he was incapacitated. Because he was the worst president of all time. All of the lies and mismanagement over COVID. I'm sorry to walk you down this path, but everything that happened in his presidency, you can point to his inability to function because it was a disaster. All of those lies about COVID, all of the miscommunication about COVID, all of the outrageous infringements on your rights during COVID. How many times did he go up there and say, if you get the shot, then you won't get the virus and you won't have to wear a mask again? All of it. He was either lying or he was incompetent or both. Or he wasn't there. He just read what was put in front of him. But who was writing it? All the lies about the vaccine. A horrendous president. What about what about the Afghan pullout? What about how we withdrew from Afghanistan, left all of our military resources and assets there, left out of the commercial airport in downtown rather than out of our secure army base, the airport that we built there that would have been behind our secured military walls? That led to the mayhem in Kabul, and then we had to send emergency troops in that led to the death of 13 members of our military. Are these the actions of a competent, coherent, functioning man? It was a disaster. What about the lies about inflation, the spending policies that ruined our economy and that made inflation jump to its highest levels in decades? And then all the lies about it. Is any of this indicative that he was competent and cognitively able to be president of the United States? What about the border? Every time he stood up and said the border is secure, he probably believed that because his brain was broken. Every aspect of the border and the rampant crime that came with the criminal element that invaded our country. That's just a short list that I could do off the top of my head. Do any of those disasters sound like they were led and conceived by a man with a functioning cerebral cortex? So spare me there's no evidence that in any way he, wasn't able to perform the functions. No, there's evidence. I lived through it. The man was a disaster. And anytime he was challenged on any of his policies, when he didn't have note cards or a script in front of him, he fumbled, he floundered, he failed. And at this point, given Jake Tapper's imprimatur, verifying that the White House lied and covered it up, well, given that we're all accepting this now and recognizing the fact that all the president's men deceived the American people, I'm sorry, it's not good enough now for them to say, oh, but he was fine. There's no evidence that he, failed in any way while he was on the job. There's no evidence that he wasn't capable of making a decision. You know what? You've already demonstrated you lied. Even Jake Tapper is admitting it now. So forgive me if I don't believe you. I think, frankly, it's not incumbent on me to find out and point to an incident or an event and an actual date and time where it's like, aha, see, he was supposed to make a decision and he couldn't do it because he was having a bad day. No. That's not how this works now. We know for a fact that you lied and covered up his incompetence and his debilitating condition, so much so that you had to prop him up to run for president. We now concede, oh, he should have never run. That's what the conventional wisdom in Washington. Oh, yeah, it was a bad decision for him to run. He couldn't possibly run. I'm sorry. Since we know that you lied and covered that up, I'm not going to take your word for it that he was just fine whenever a big decision had to be made. Because he wasn't just fine when the big decision about running for re-election was made. He wasn't just fine when the big decision to have a debate with Donald Trump was made. He wasn't just fine when the big decision of how to get off the stage at a fundraiser in LA was made, because Obama had to hold his hand and lead him off the stage. So no, I'm not taking your word for it when you say, trust us, he was just fine when any decision had to be made. No. It's incumbent on you to prove that fact. I've just given you the laundry list of disasters. You tell me, did he really make every single one of those decisions? Who used the auto pen? Nancy, Philadelphia, you're our first call coming up next. I'm Larry O'Connor. It's the Mark Levin Show.
Mark Levin. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
I'd like to change gears for a minute and talk about the Holy Land in Israel. It's now the month of May, and 80 years ago this very month, the horror of the Holocaust, the final solution, came to an end. But did you know that about half of all Holocaust survivors live in Israel? The pain of the past now intensified today by October 7th, and the incredible rise of anti-Semitism everywhere. And along with other elderly Jews, thousands in Israel live below the poverty line. And for many, there's no safety net. That's why I support the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. The fellowship provides a lifeline to these precious ones in the form of hot meals and boxes full of healthy food. And for only $25, you can help the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews provide a food box. Better yet, $335 provides hot meals for an entire year. So please help with your tax-deductible gift. Call 844-866-IFCJ, 844-866-IFCJ, or go online at levinforthefellowship.org.
Making sense of your money, the state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon.
The kind of thing I pay attention to, I'm looking at.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at DonorShoes.org.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnades, host of The Vince Show and Vince Podcast. It's a show with an obsessive focus on what's good for America. I'll give you the truth beneath the headlines of all of the nation's top stories. The Vince Show is redefining news talk with in-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day, every day. The Vince Show and Vince Podcast.
WMAL's Vince Colonnades, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Making sense of the headlines, making sense of your world. WMAL's Vince Colonnades.
Thank you for all you do on the radio show.
What a nice call. Thank you very much.
Weekdays noon to 3. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business.
Will Wheaton is here, getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse.
If you're here for Jay Moore, you found the right place. Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out. From Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love movies.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You know, Americans love using their credit cards, one of the most secure and hassle-free ways to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com, guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Making sense of your world.
Thanks for taking my call.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Greatly appreciated.
Making sense of the news.
Combat medic Alan Babin was critically injured in Iraq when he rushed to help an injured soldier. Now he will require care for the rest of his life. Paralyzed Veterans of America is here helping veterans get all the benefits they've earned. To help Paralyzed Veterans of America, visit pva.org.
Making sense of your world.
I don't know where to begin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Thanks for taking my call.
Making sense of the news.
Marie O'Connor here, and we're reacting to this audio that's dropped now, finally, waiting 2 years for it, I believe. Joe Biden's interview with U.S. Attorney Robert Hurd. At worst, actually, every single Democrat in the House of Representatives voted to keep you from hearing this tape. Of course, the Biden administration and the Justice Department with Merrick Garland blocked it from you. You're the American people. You're the voters. You have every right to know this. And so we're exploring it, and we're going to continue. There's more audio here. I've screened it. It's good. You got to hear it, because all of this Biden book by Tapper, all the people claiming, oh, I had no idea that he was sharp as a tack when I saw him. The White House lied, you know, that building on 1600 Pennsylvania, it tells lies all the time. And now hearing how bad it was and what they did to protect him, cover up, lie to you, even though you could see it with your own eyes. It's all directly related to what's happening in the House of Representatives right now. The House of Representatives right now, as they debate the reconciliation bill for your tax cut and for savings in your federal budget. I'll connect all of those dots for you in a moment. I want to talk to Nancy in Philadelphia. You've been holding. I appreciate it, Nancy, for you holding. I'm just kind of fired up about this. Go ahead. You're on the Mark Levin Show. Hey, Nancy, you're up. We're still having phone problems. All right. Let's go to... sorry, I expected to have him. How about is that Anthony in Spokane, Washington? Go ahead, Anthony. You're on the Mark Levin Show. Anthony? All right. We'll fix it in the studio, but let's get back to Joe Biden here. All right. So now you'll remember 2 minutes ago, the U.S. attorney asked, you were living in this house in Northern Virginia. Where did you keep the records you were working on for the Biden Center, the Penn Center, and the book you were writing? Now we're 2 minutes into this question. He's already gotten the date of his son's death wrong. He started talking about how he wanted to run for president, but Obama wasn't going to support him because Obama thought Hillary was going to win, which, of course, that didn't happen in 2017. And this is about his post-vice presidency, right? But he's talking about, you know, something that he had not even close to the date that he's talking about, because he's conflating it with 2015. When he wasn't living at Cambridge, he was actually living in the Naval Observatory, which is the residence of the vice president. So he's completely out of it. So we're 2 minutes into this now. He picks up the story with Trump winning the election, which, again, the question is, where did you keep your records? So now he's telling us about Trump winning the presidency.
Trump gets elected in November of 2017, 16. So
he didn't know when the election was. He thought it was in 2017. Everyone knows it's every 4 years on an even number year. He was actually there. All right, I'm sorry.
2017.
That's when you left the office in January.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if you could pick that up, but he got confused because he has 2017 on his notes. So he turns to his attorney and says, why do I have 2017 here if the election was in 2016? And the lawyer says, that's when you left office. The lawyer has to explain that to him. He's the president of the United States while this is happening. We've got men and women in the military in harm's way getting fired at over in the Middle East while this is happening. And he's their commander-in-chief, making life and death decisions about them. He's the commander-in-chief in charge of border security, allowing criminals to invade this country and murder innocent people. And he's confused about what 2017's relevance is to this story, and his attorney has to remind him, that's when you left office. And I'm sorry, I'm out of line when I challenge who was actually running the White House, because it's obvious this guy couldn't do it. All right, back to the audio.
But that's when Trump was sworn in.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And in 2017, Bo had passed, and
Bo had passed in 2017. Bo died in 2015. He was just reminded of that a minute and a half ago. And now he again repeats that his son Bo died in 2017.
This is personal. The genesis of the book and the title "Promise Me, Dad" was I know you're all close with your sons and daughters, but Bo was like my right arm, and that was my left. These guys were a year and a day apart, and they could finish each other's sentences. Bo, I used to go home on the train in the period that I was still in the Senate. Anyway, there was not pressure. Bo knew how much I adored him. And this sounds so. Everybody knew how close we were. There was not anybody who wondered whether or not. Anyway. And so. No, let me just keep going and get it done.
Yeah, the lawyer says maybe it's time to take a break. That's 4.5 minutes there. The question was, where did you keep your records? And he still hasn't answered. He couldn't answer. He didn't know. He didn't understand. He didn't know when his son died. He didn't even realize that he was still in office in 2016 or 2015. He didn't realize when Trump was sworn in. He didn't remember when the election was. He just referred to driving on the train back to see his son when he was in the Senate. That had nothing to do with any of this. This is the greatest scandal of our lifetimes. And the truth is going to come out. Certainly not going to come out now, though, because these Democrats and their pals in the media, even though they're trying to cover this story, they're really covering it up. And the Democrats, the last thing they want to do is be clear with you, to come clean with you, to tell the truth. And we know the truth. They knew. They didn't say anything. They went along with it because they hate Trump that much. This all had to do with beating Donald Trump. That was it. They convinced themselves that Joe Biden was the only one who could do it. And if Joe Biden had to step down because he was mentally incompetent, well, that would That would be a disaster. They'd have Kamala Harris, which is a disaster, or they'd have to have this big primary. No, they were convinced that Biden was the only one who could beat Donald Trump, and that was more important than anything. And they still lie about it. And that's why this relates to the reconciliation bill going on right now.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, you know some of the most talented people in the business.
No weakness here. Getting ready to do this podcast. I text my Star Trek family. That is a supernatural impulse.
If you're here for Jay Moore, you found the right place. Have you always had a large personality? The nicest way anybody's ever put it. You always warn people out. Twilight, Ashley Green.
We were just like, no one's going to see this. This is not going to be a good movie.
I really love the movie.
Don't feel bad.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen.
I'm going to leave.
Favorite platform.
Unless somebody wants to come up, I'm leaving here in a second.
Necessary resources, but when communities and schools is present, students are connected to the support.
I'm going to go out and watch the sunset.
Visit communitiesandschools.org. Being present.
It's really nice out.
For a local news source you can trust.
Been outside most of the day. I got to go back outdoors. Unless somebody wants to come up.
Access our podcast archives and more. WMAL.com. Making sense of your world online.
They want to, they just don't dare.
Every day. Why are we the only ones reporting this? News Talk.
All right, I'll see everybody on the flip side.
Making sense.
I got to go do house chores.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness?